Ahoy matey. Welcome to a water episode of the Dreadful Minutes. I'm Dreadful Rick, and this will be a thread response video for a thread started by Ron Haggerty. His channel is Ron Haggerty's Vinyl Sanctuary. I recently become acquainted to him. I also found out he likes things like doom metal, which is definitely my wheelhouse. And I said, yeah, I could definitely get down with this. So I've seen a few responses to this, people in the VC, so I decided to kind of take a crack at it. All about the H2O, so it could be album title, song name, whatever's on the cover, stuff like that. So, water, essence of life, right? We're all familiar with it. So I decided to change sets and location. So here I am in the lovely beaches and tropical paradise that is known as New Jersey. So I hope you guys are enjoying this fine weather with me. Water has been a very thing on the forefront lately when it came to when it comes to marketing. So at the gym, sometimes I'll pull stuff like this: hydrogen infused water. Is it bullshit? Probably, but I feel better after a workout. It's a $3 worth it. Seems it to me. Been seeing a lot of this in the supermarket. Liquid Death. I know Classy Lonnie's a big fan of this, right, Lonnie? Convicted Melon. So this is all started by Mike Cesario back in 2017, I believe. It started out like a joke, and then as it kind of took a life of its own, and he's decided to run with it. And today we end up with something called Liquid Death, which kind of appeals to metalheads, although you could find this in your common supermarket aisle. Again, the names. So it started out as regular water, and then they just started adding more flavors on top of it, but to continue that theme going. So Convicted Melon. Here we have Bury It Alive. Mango Chainsaw. Severed Lime. This one here, it's kind of a wasted opportunity in my mind. It's black, and black is the darkest color. Black is the most evil color, and there's so many ways you could have gone with this. Instead, they went with just sparkling water. So maybe they should change that. I don't know. What do you guys? You guys have any suggestions? Leave it in the comments. But there you go. So let's see what I pulled. Let's not waste any more time. First up, so this is I guess what you call a collaboration. We've seen collaborations before with labels in particular. They might get together to do a split with their, signed roster of bands or whatever. And I found this one pretty peculiar. I almost picked it up for the Accusation Network contest as the quirky or unique item, and I decided to save it for this. So this is Skull Mountain. I want to say it came out around 2018, something like that. And it's a 4-label sampler from the underground. That's a little Photoshop job there. It's a bit of water flowing there and all that stuff. This is all about the water. So essentially, we have Ripple Music, Twin Earth Records. So here are the logos. Twin Earth has not put out anything in a while, so I don't know if they're still active. They're still listed as active, but they have not released anything in a while. DHU Records and Cosmic Artifacts. These two are overseas, and these two are US based. So it's cool how you kind of have both sides of the globe kind of in consideration. Throwing all this together, they're able to work. So they got their roster of chosen bands to participate in this. We thrown on this compilation. Some are exclusive, like this Haunted Crossmoth track. Awesome. Cool Windham Worship out of Italy. I don't know if they're aware of each other, but in my mind it is. So we have also like that picture in the back. This takes me back, man. Back when I was growing up, it's still around. So there's a theme park, like a chain, called Great Adventure. Well, it's called Six Flags, and Six Flags has one theme park called Great Adventure. It's all like Looney Tunes based and all that. So they have one little what you call enclosed roller coaster called Skull Mountain, and it looks very much like this. Funny enough. So yeah, very interesting. So this is broken up like in tarot card form, so kind of representing each side, and every one of these guys kind of represent that psych, stoner, doom kind of thing. So there's more and more of these kind of bands cropping up, and more than ever. A lot of them are very Sabbath worship, Electric Wizard, you know, kind of oriented, sonic kind of stuff, Uncle Acid, you name it. So what's cool about this is that each label sells their own variant of it. So you have Water represented, which is the one that I have here, Twin Earth, and I believe their vinyl is green. So this is exclusive only on vinyl, by the way. You can get them on their sites. So green, and then you have, I believe it's red, or orange or red, I think it's red, DHU Records, which I think is based out of UK. And again, Dark Hedonistic Union, I think is what those initials stand for, and which is probably the darkest sounding name. So again, it'd be like the devil, right? So red, fiery, right? Cosmic Artifacts, it's the more psych sounding and spacey. So it's I think their vinyl is clear. So here's mine. It's more like a teal, really, than a proper blue. I guess maybe a little bit of I don't know. Well, each label shows what it is. So it's Ripple Music side here, Twin Earth here, and then you have the other two, DHU, which are again the overseas guys. Yeah, DHU, and then the other side is Cosmic Artifacts. Very, very cool effort by all four of these guys getting together and doing a project quite like this. So if this genre is your thing, this is definitely worth picking up and just trying it out. Yeah, Youngblood Super Cult, Witch Ritual, Alistor, which is cool doom band, Kabbalah. Yeah, so it's quite a few things here. So some of these bands are active, still active. Some are, some aren't. Devil Electric are pretty good. So yeah, there you go, Skull Mountain. So for this next one, I went with a one-man black metal project out of Canada. It's kind of like black gaze, post black metal. It has those kind of leadings. If you like, I don't know, projects like Violet Cold or even Alcest, this will definitely be up your alley. So this definitely puts me in that sort of deep sea kind of escapism, if you will. Even looking at the cover, it'll right away give you that impression. So like I said, it's a one-man thing, and there are about 6 albums in. So this is his second release, probably my personal favorite, Star Swept to the Sea. Really cool stuff. It even came in this nice blue, aqua looking kind of blue, nice and marbled there. So yeah, on Requided, definitely check it out if you haven't already. What's crazy is I've been pulling all these 2018 things. It was not on purpose. For some reason, something about that year gravitated me towards water. I don't know. So here's another one. It's called Lethian, The Waters of Death. So this is categorized as epic heavy metal, but although it has, it's very moody, but it has doom elements to it at the same time. It's kind of somber, and so here it is. Nice little ship there, heading towards something. It kind of reminds me, that little ship there reminds me of that latest Dark Tranquility album, which just has that vibe. So yeah, The Waters of Death. It's a 2-person project. So James Ashby, who does all the music, and Thumri Pavana. So she does the vocals. So it's all female vocals. She has a very beautiful voice that kind of fits this mood. As far as the music, you know, I would recommend it for people who are into, you know, Solstice, Atlantia Codex, that kind of stuff. If you have leading swords, that kind of style, you love that kind of thing, definitely give these guys a try. Lethian, The Waters of Death. Put up by Cruz del Sur, so you know you're getting quality. I don't hear anybody talk about this. You know what? let me break the 2018 ice with this one. So this is a new release for this year, and this is their debut album. This is Lord Mountain, and the album is called The Oath. So here is a ship. Looks like it's heading towards this, I guess this Lord Mountain. Good stuff. Very classic sounding Doom, and it's probably going to end up on my album of the year list. Maybe even top 5. It's that good. I love it so much. It's just the kind of Doom that I love. It's got that Sabbath worship, but with a little bit of like Grand Magus thrown in there. What do you call it? There's just all those little elements, very catchy riffs. It's got everything that sticks to your head about this. Jesse Swanson, the vocalist, just kind of entrances you. Jesse Swanson, I don't think any relation to Phil Swanson, but really good stuff. So here you go, Lord Mountain. Next up, we got some, I guess you could call it folk-leaning type of black metal. It's a one-man project. Daniel Cordejo, who owns Gray Matter Productions. You may have something in your collection he's probably touched, mixed, and mastered. One of those prolific kind of guys. Although this release is the only release so far under this name, called Lionoka, Tides of Triumph. And I love how untypical it is with the cover. That's not like overly blue with the Aquatic. There's something a little different than what's typically shown, at least with some of the stuff that people have been showing on this thread regarding the album covers. But look at that. Look how beautiful that is. It really captures the mood of what this feels like. This was put out by Old Mill Artifacts, based out of Canada. Although I think they're shut down for now. Their site doesn't seem to be operating. Although I've ordered quite a bit of stuff from there. Things like Molder Yarn, Robes of Snow, things along those lines. Probably made in Ontario. I originally ordered this. It was supposed to come in sort of nice swirl, white and black, but due to production issues, eventually they just ended up with just black, which is completely fine with me. Tides of Triumph. Really cool, nice lead guitar work on this. There's good moments of that. Nice tribal drumming towards the middle there. Some nice riffy action. So it's not all just monotonous stuff. There's quite a bit of variety there to keep your interest up. So if you like stuff like this in this kind of spiritual introspective style of black metal, with some folky elements, definitely give this one a try. Not talked about enough. Limited run 200, 250, something like that. So, but should not be too difficult to locate. This cog's maybe your best bet if you can't find a seller somewhere online. But highly recommended. All right, back to 2018. So this pick here is their second album. You guys maybe remember I was on a live stream for the top 5, I guess, 2022 releases, and this made my band of the year. And so with their album Closer. So this band called Messa, M-E-S-S-A, out of Italy. They fall under that Doom. They're more like a Doom psych band now. A lot of spiritual elements, a lot of creative stuff going on. So again, they're not one-dimensional whatsoever. Female fronted. Sarah has amazing vocals. And in 2018, this became quite a departure from their debut album Belfry, which was more Witch Mountain, Sabrosa kind of stuff, and they went more avant-garde this time around. Right away, looking at the cover, it looks like this sort of Doom band going for blue notes, because it had a really jazzy look to it, especially with that minimalism. So here's your water. See someone diving in. I like how it's not like, the obvious blue. It's still kept. They kind of went monotone with this one. Even their video for Leia, their track here. Excellent. If anything, you walk away from this video, check out that Leia, L-E-A-H music video. Very creative. Again, very quite eclectic avant-garde kind of stuff for something that's supposed to be Doom. Very interesting. So if you want something that's a little more than just one-dimensional, definitely check it out. It came in this nice orange. They tend to put up oral music. So there you go. This orange fits in pretty nicely. They tend to put out color variants for their stuff. So yeah, Messa, Feast for Water. Another 2018 release. I promise people, I did not do this on purpose. Everything just happened to land this year for some reason. And it happens to have some kind of water on the cover or something along those lines. So this is the band that had a very bumpy history. Kind of this evolution of trying to really hone in and find their sound. And in this particular release, they completely scrapped everything, kind of started over again. The lead guy, Stefano, I don't know how to say his last name, out of Athens, and kind of came in the mid '90s, right when Rotting Christ and those other bands were coming out during that Greek scene. And they started out as actually as Paralysis, and then became Phlebotomy. So they were like a proper death metal band, and later moved on to gothic metal, dark metal, with and it became quite symphonic. You have violins, quite what you call lavish touches of female vocals, and and all this stuff going on. So over time, to some people, they may have seemed a little overindulgent, a little pretentious with their music. And I wouldn't blame you if you thought that. So I could have easily went with Orama, which is kind of I guess Atlantis based, but it had that very cheesy '90s Photoshop kind of thing. So they came back to form after many years of hiatus, after completely changing their sound. In 2015, with some re-recorded older material. But I think they scrapped that again. So this band is On Thorns I Lay. You probably remember that name, and you probably may have avoided this particular album because you already had sort of your opinions of this band already. And I gotta tell you, so Stefano's brought Dan Suano with the mixing and mastering of this, and really helped hone in this band, kind of reinvent themselves. So with Adrian Sorrow, beautiful album. So not that much I can say here. Nice picture of the sea here. And with this one here, they kind of scrapped all those violins and kind of overly done female vocals and everything else. Although some of it was beautiful, but for some people it may have been too much or not what they were looking for. So this is what you call a proper death doom album. It does still have some of those gothic touches. It does have beautiful keyboard moments and things like that going on. Again, we got Dana Swano involved, so he knows what he's doing. He's able to make the sound really come out and give it life. So really good listen. Caught up at the vinyl division, and so I love this so much. I love the return to form for this band. So definitely caught up with a lot of the other modern bands. So think of kind of like Officium Trist meets Paradise Lost. Something along those lines. Get On Thorns I Lay. The follow-up album after this, Theranos, came out right before the whole pandemic happened, so a lot of people didn't even notice that release. So that one's pretty good too. But here's my pick. Another 2018 release. Damn it, keeps happening. So this is the second album by this Phoenix, Arizona band. One of the members of this band, Cole Jacobson, is also in another band called Fluids. Who's vocalist for that band, interestingly enough. So this is put out by Unique Leader Records, and this is Lago, Lago, Sea of the Rest. So there's your sea, there's your little Reaper guy. I like how he can use his sort of, his little sickle there as a paddle too at the same time. I don't know how well that's going to be effective during the storm, but oh well. Good stuff. And I'm looking very forward for them to put another album because it's been a while. But again, I guess other members have been involved in other projects, so it's probably the hold up. So just imagine, I don't know, if bands like Incantation or Morbid Angel kind of went in a very melodic direction. So kind of takes those textures along with that. The ebbs and flows and the way everything moves, but progresses really well. Excellent release. I've seen this in the sale pile and discount bins and stuff, and I was scratching my head about why this gets overlooked and not talked about enough. It's such a great release. So I ended up getting this I guess what you call rhubarb beets colored vinyl to go along with it. Not bad. So there you go. Lago, Sea of the Rest, excellent release. Another one that's recommended. Some nice proper death metal here. This one I thought would be an interesting pick. So earlier I showed Unrequited, Stars Swept to the Sea, which is it's beautiful, it's nice and bright, and kind of puts you in this sort of aura of escapism. So I want something that's kind of the opposite of that. And this is a Belgian project. Actually, the guy behind this also is involved in another project called Rituals of the Dead Hand, Another really good one. This is part of the Nox Entity Collective over there. That black metal circle. So, 2021, put out by Babylon Doom Cult Records. I think collaborated with Extra Conscious Records. And this is Lhaad, L-H-A-A-D. The album's below. And right away you could say this is very murky and just very just kind of dreadful when you think about it. That side of the deep sea, the non-beautiful, the ugly parts, the darker part of it, the more evil part of it. So there you go, below where there is no lights. And this is kind of like proper black metal, but take elements, take like a little bit of electronic elements and other atmospheric touches. And think of bands like Dark Space. So take Dark Space, add it to what you call more conventional black metal, kind of thrown together in a blender, but more subdued. It's not as overt as something like Dark Space. Just tinges of it thrown in there. You do feel like you're in the murky waters when you listen to this, and your subterranean has lost its contact to the outside world, and at those moments when you're kind of stuck there in the elements and with no chance of escape, it kind of gives you that choking feeling. Really good release. Another one that I feel like went under the radar. So this came in a sort of nice, I don't know if you can see it, but it is sort of semi-transparent there. But yeah, another one that's really good and I'm recommended. Some good stuff coming out of Belgium lately. Alright, so this is the 10th album. Before I move along to some bonus stuff, I'd end it with a classic. So I didn't see this one mentioned in the threads responses. Someone may have shown it, but maybe I didn't catch that particular episode. So this is Deep Purple's Machine Head. This was already their 6th album by the time this dropped, and this was a really rough one for the band, just with all the stuff. So the song in question is Smoke on the Water, of course, right? We all know that song, and I believe Blackmore took that from a Beethoven track and inversed it for that iconic opening riff, right? That drives the song, basically. What am I saying? So what's interesting about it is the story behind the song, right? So a lot of you older folk are going to know the story, probably tired of hearing it. And but just to give some people context, so the band was there to record what was supposed to be this album, and they were going to this casino in Switzerland called the Montreux to go see Zappa and the Mothers, right? And some guy came in, I don't know, upset or whatever. So again, my details on it are checkered. So shot a flare gun inside of there, and at first things were not as bad, but then the fire started to spread very rapidly. So Frank Zappa and those guys lost all their equipment throughout all this. So the Deep Purple brought a mobile. So in the song, you know, when they brought their mobile, which is in the lyrics of the song, which is a portable recording studio. Today, our idea of a portable recording studio is probably something on a smartphone. Back then, it was probably something fucking gigantic and heavy, probably weighed a ton, and that was considered their mobile, right? And so there goes their plan to record there. And I think they were at a hotel at the time, and they could see the smoke from that place burning down go out to the lake, Lake Geneva, I believe it was called. And you know, it just kind of, there you go, smoke on the water, which is what they were witnessing as this event was going on. And so correct me if I'm, you know, inaccurate in any of this. So they ended up recording. I think they ended up going to some place, and it was the neighbors were complaining about during those recording sessions, so they weren't able to do very much. So they ended up going to some hotel and making a sort of a makeshift studio, and ended up finishing the album there. So it wasn't the most, what you call, opportune and best environment to have made this album, but in the end it worked out for them. It just became one of their essential classics. So Smoke on the Water, Fire in the Sky. Well, if you managed to make it this far, thank you. So I went ahead and did a little change of formats and pulled 4 CDs. So this is just a little bonus for you all. So with water-based things. So let's start with a 2009 album by Finnish death doom band Swallow the Sun, and this is the track "Lights on the Lake," the Horror Part 3. Yes, one of my favorite tracks by this band. It's just because it's so haunting and ghostly. May I add, vocals done by Leah Starbridge, who you know her from Trees of Eternity, and she ended up passing away. I talked about her before on my channel, but thought it'd be a good one to include. If you have not checked it out yet, please do. Great song, very chilling and haunting. It sets the mood just right for that album. Next up is so my late girl who passed away. So this was probably her favorite album that would be categorized metal. Though for many of us who watch this stuff in the VC, would not lump this in with what you call proper metal, but it's symphonic metal. So yeah, it falls in line with the Night Wishes and all that stuff. But so this is Lunatica and The Edge of Infinity. And so, you know, like every couple, you may have your song. Our song was Song for You, right? But the Aquatic song for this, I'm going with Emotion. Get it? Emotion with Ocean right here. And again, if this is your kind of thing and you love this sound, this is actually a very well done, very well produced album. It doesn't have the big studio production, but for what it is, the songwriting is good. It's catchy, and it's probably the best thing. Again, the band I think is on a hiatus or something because they've not put out anything in a long time. But if you're gonna grab any release, this is the one for you symphonic metal fans out there. And next up is Therion. This album has been with me for a long time, and you know, I've talked about this band before on my channel, and you know, I may not be a fan of their new material. Even up to this point, they were already kind of pushing it for me. But the Crowning of Atlantis, this is a very peculiar one in their discography. So this is right before they went all kind of super blown out and super overly indulgent with the whole symphonic thing. But the Crowning of Atlantis, you know, so you got the whole, what do you call it? Who's that? Neptune, right? The god of the sea. So it's got that whole feel to it. It's got 3 covers to it. So you have Crazy Nights, right, by Loudness, the Japanese band. Thor, so you got a Manowar cover there. And but the song in question, the water track would have to be, you know, track 7, Sea Winds. Right there. It's right after Thor. And that one is actually an Accept cover. So for you Accept fans, you would already know. It's on their first album, on their self-titled album, I believe. And sung by Peter, I never know how to say his last name, Baltis, who was the bassist for that band. And so he was kind of a nice, alternative vocalist to Udo. Because Udo trying to sing a ballad, a beautiful ballady song like Sea Winds would not have worked. Peter definitely fit the voice for something like that, and for those kind of tracks that needed that kind of treatments. So, like I said, if you like ballady kind of stuff, Sea Winds is great, and I like their version of this cover. Though I do like the original for its classic sound. Here they kind of amped up the production, and you know, and they have the female vocals in the background, kind of giving it that feel of being out in the sea. So again, I'm a very moody guy. I like moody things. I love things that kind of put you in that place, as you probably already figured out by now. So yeah. Okay, last one. It's actually a band I don't think I've ever talked about on this channel for some reason. I don't know why. I don't like all their albums. I prefer their 90s output, really. After Octavarium, I kind of just dipped out. So that is Dream Theater, Falling into Infinity. So this is their 1997 album. After a streak of really good albums, here's where it kind of became a bit of a dipping point, just a bit for me. It's not a bad album at all. I still enjoy this album very much. But this is one of those albums where, like, if you're going to check out Dream Theater or even pick up this album in particular, the track that really makes it worth it, it's the one that also gets Doug Pinnick. You all know from King's X. And yeah, and that would be Lines in the Sand, which is the longest track here. We're looking at 12 minutes and 5 seconds. Shouldn't be shocking. This is Dream Theater we're talking about. Nice, epic, long, freaking just a track that kind of envelops you, takes you away. But yeah, that picture right there with these guys kind of, you know, this is something you expect from progressive leaning bands, you know, kind of these weird and quirky kind of things. But yeah, so again, this is after you know, a nice string of just banger albums, and then finally they hit this. After the 90s, they became kind of checkered for me. But yeah, Dream Theater, Falling Into Infinity, you know, Guest Track, Dog Panic, definitely that track alone makes it worth to pick up, as I already said. So there you go. So Ron, it's been fun. Thank you for doing this thread, and everybody else who's participated in it. So water is my thing. I had to jump in this. I'm a Pisces sign. You know, that's a water element, you know. So why wouldn't I jump on this? So yeah. So I'll catch you all later. And it was kind of a very weird, odd arrangement of stuff I picked here, but that's the way it is with these threads, right? Anything goes. So keep it dreadful. Catch you all later.